Good evening and welcome to the Young Scientist Challenge. This is Meet the Mentors and Finalists, and boy, do we have a special event lined up for you this evening. We are so excited to once again return to this incredible competition where brilliant young people, brilliant minds from across the United States come together. These students are sharing their thoughts, their innovations, their insights into how they can make the world a better place. My name is Kyle Shutt with Discovery Education, and I have the good pleasure of being the moderator on tonight's panel and introducing you to these bright young minds and the mentors, the 3M scientists, the folks behind the scenes that are helping them to shine and really accelerating their innovations. So with that said, if you're new to the 3M Young Scientist Challenge, if this is the first year, even if you've been here before, please get ready because you truly are about to just be blown away at the brilliance of our young scientists. So on behalf of Discovery Education, 3M, everyone that's been a part of making this over 13-year partnership successful, we welcome you. We're so excited for you to join us and to learn more. Now, this evening, as you can imagine, we have a little bit of a new format for obvious reasons, with it being the need to be virtual, right? This really enables this first-time event where you get a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes, who these finalists are. And so we're really excited for you to get to meet them. You'll be able to ask questions as we go, but really, we're going to get kicked off here. And as we do so, as we get started, we also are very, very fortunate. We have a 3M executive with us, such a special guest. We're so fortunate to have Dr. John Benevitz on with us. John, for those of you that don't know, he's a Senior Vice President of Innovation and Stewardship. His team consists of more than 8,000 scientists. That's right. And really, they're working to connect 3M's 51 technology platforms to real-world solutions for people around the world. So finalists, hope you're listening close. Hope that this is someone that you're reaching out to because, oh yeah, by the way, John's also the Chief Technology Officer at 3M, someone that you definitely want to know. John, we are so thrilled and so fortunate to have you. Are you there? And good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks, Kyle. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. I'm really honored and privileged to be joined by our finalists, Kyle and Akansh. For those that may not know, the 3M Young Scientist Challenge is a one-of-a-kind national science competition that seeks to speak curiosity in middle school science students and empower them to create a unique solution that really improves lives. The winner of the competition receives a $25,000 scholarship and the title of America's Top Young Scientist for the year. So today we'll learn a little bit about the finalists, their projects, and get a glimpse into what makes this program really unique, which is the relationship between the finalist and their 3M mentor. But to get us started, I'm going to toss it back to you, Kyle. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much. And again, I mentioned a little bit earlier that you can submit your questions. We want to include your questions and we'll bring those into the program at the end. So please go ahead and find that Q&A box where you can do that. And one of those questions, for example, might be, Kyle, which Kyle? Because we are so fortunate to have two Kyles on tonight, right? Myself, but I'm not the star of the show. I'm really excited to introduce you to the star, one of the stars of the show, I should say, and that is Kyle Tianchi from San Diego, California. And with Kyle is his first-time mentor and first-time father, we might add, Jonah Shaver, and Jonah works in 3M's division for display materials and the systems division, and just has added so much, as you're about to learn, to Kyle's experience. So for those of you that don't know, before they say hi, just take a quick pause. Those of you that don't know, that this mentorship aspect of the Young Scientist Challenge is just so unique, right? The students, the finalists, they get to work with scientists throughout the last several months, perfecting, evolving, and really learning so much about their innovations and how they can further contribute. So with that said, there's also a little bit of back and forth where Jonah, we hope that you've learned a little bit about Kyle's. This is again Kyle Tianchi's presentation. So Jonah, you're going to be on the hot seat here. We would love your best 30-second introduction on Kyle's project. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, take it away.
So Kyle lives in California, and water safety and security there, where there's a lot of drought, is really important. One of the problems that we've had recently is a lot of microplastic pollution into water. And so Kyle has designed a device that's cheap, less than $50. It uses a Raspberry Pi, a laser, and a USB microscope to measure the total suspended solids that are in water. And we could imagine using this in industrial applications. You can imagine even putting this together yourself and having it in your under sink solution. So you'd have a water filter there and you'd know exactly how much total dissolved solids or total suspended solids are actually in your drinking water itself. So I think it's really cool, and I can't wait until he gives me all the instructions so then I can build it myself and actually use it here.
Or come and join you and perhaps build it with you. We'll never know. We'll have to wait for the future to find out about that. But Kyle, here's your chance. How did he do? Is there anything that he missed or anything that you would add?
Yeah, that was a really great summary. I think it's also really important to remember how crazy powerful this tiny device is. This device, which is called Myriad, it can detect particles as small as 50 nanometers, and it's also portable, low cost, and fast. Other than that, it was a really great summary. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for joining us tonight, Kyle. So with that, let's go ahead and introduce our second finalist and mentor pair. So our student finalist, Ikon Mattel from Beaverton, Oregon. Are you there?
Hello.
All right, there he is. We hear him. All right, so and with Ikon, his mentor from the corporate division of corporate research division of 3M is Vasav Sani. Vasav, it's your turn. Let's go ahead and hear your pitch. What has Ikon been working on the last several months?
I'm going to preface it by saying that Ikon is not using Raspberry Pis. He's looking at early methods to detect cancer in the very early stages. One of the issues with cancers is that they are detectable only in the very advanced stages, at which point the treatments of cancer and the survival rates of those patients are severely compromised. What Ikon is doing is that he's showing that your gut microbiome, or the bacteria in your gut, changes in a very specific pattern in the presence of cancers. So when you see that change happening in your gut microbiome, you can guess that there's the initial stages of cancers in the body. Furthermore, what he's doing is developing a microfluidic device that allows you to not only test this change in microbiome in the presence of cancer cells, but also to administer treatments. So the final goal is that you'll be, let's say, at your annual physical with your doctor, and you can get this annual test done in a very easy fashion, and you can detect if there is any cancer, even at its very initial stages. So it's a very high impact project. I'm very happy with the progress that Ikon has made.
Oh, it sounds incredibly impressive, that's for sure. Ikon, how do you do? Anything that you would add?
Yeah, that was a great summary of my project. I think it's also important to remember that a solution to what's currently in the market, such as for detection, such as MRIs and other such surgery. And I think that this project has a lot of potential to help millions of people with their fight with cancer.
Excellent. Okay. Well, now's the time. We've heard a little bit about your projects, getting to know you. So we have a couple questions for you. So I'm going to ask that that you make sure that you're not muted, Kyle and Ikon. Okay. So here we go. A couple questions. Just blurt out the answer as quick as it comes. Did you do your homework today?
Oh, I haven't gone to that yet, you know. But
Was that a yes and a no? I'm not quite sure. Okay, we got another question for you. Do you prefer hot or cold beverages?
Cold beverages are much better.
Yeah, I think I'd probably agree because, you know, Sprite, you know, just tops everything. You can't beat that.
Okay, here we go. I'm just getting you ready for the heavy hitters. Mountains or oceans?
Definitely oceans.
Yeah, I would also.
Like being on the West Coast, we don't have many like mountains. So, but we have the ocean. So I think maybe we're both a little bit biased towards the ocean, but
Yeah,
I like it. Working together. Oh, go ahead. Yes.
Oceans are like basically the inspiration for my entire project. So how could I not say ocean?
I like this. I like this. Bringing them back to the project. Smart. All right. Last one for you. Heavy hitter. Morning or evening?
I think I would definitely say evening because like evening is when I'm actually alive. When I first wake up, I'm still half sleeping. I can't do anything, so my mornings are usually much less productive than my evenings.
Ikon, what do you think?
Yeah, I would
Anything to
have
add
to
to that?
agree with that. Yeah, the evening is definitely better.
You know, I don't know why, but I just had this gut reaction that you guys, being middle schoolers and all that, that's what you would say is more the nighttime than the morning. I don't know. When I was in your shoes, I didn't like to wake up either. But speaking of time, let's go ahead and talk about this, Kyle. I do want to turn it to you to perhaps some more similar, more serious questions. So Kyle, speaking of time, what was, over the time that you were collaborating with your mentor, what's been the biggest surprise that you've discovered?
Well, I think that it's always incredible to see how much my mentor knows about engineering and science. I'll mention some obscure term and he's going to be like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And then he's going to tell me a bunch of stuff that I didn't even know about the term. And it always makes me wonder when I'm going to reach the peak of my intelligence, because you're always constantly learning new things. For example, I was discussing an issue with my image processing, I think. And then he brought up this thing called aspect ratio analysis, which is like literally the perfect solution to my problem. And things like this just show how great it is to have a mentor guide me through this entire process. And another maybe less scientific surprise is that Dr. Shaver is actually an ultimate Frisbee and bread baking expert. So, he's quite a multifaceted person.
I love that. So you get to learn not just the professional side, but the personal side of the mentorship. And that is definitely something that makes this unique. So Ikon, coming to you, what's your favorite piece of advice so far? Speaking of wisdom, what's your favorite piece of advice that your mentor has shared with you?
So yeah, I've gotten a lot of advice from my mentor over the course of the entire summer. But I think the most important advice I've gotten so far is about how to present my data in an accurate way and in a way that everyone can understand it, because like the communication of your project, basically it's make or break. So I think that's the most important feedback I've gotten, or most important advice that I've gotten this summer.
Excellent. Okay, so Kyle, coming back to you, we have you have two mentors, right? Two 3M scientists. And of course, there's so many different directions that that the future holds and that you could pick for your path. But one of them might be to become a 3M scientist. You have two of them on the hot seat right now. Is there anything that perhaps you've been meaning to ask them?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that the mentors chosen for the 3M Young Scientist Challenge aren't just any normal scientists, and that's assuming that any scientist is normal. But how did both of you get involved with 3M Young Scientist Challenge?
Do you want to go first, John?
Sure. I've heard about the Young Scientist Challenge. It's been something that I've been paying attention to for the last couple of years. And I just was very lucky that they had an opening for mentorship this year. And, if an opportunity like this comes, you take it, because frankly, you guys are really smart for your age. And I always want to hang out with people that are smarter than me. And it's been a great summer so far. And I'm, just really happy to be able to talk to you and work through these projects.
Yeah, for me, this is my third time doing this program. But even before this program, I did the Discovery's virtual field trip. I think it was called, towards the end of 2017, 2018, when the folks from Discovery, some of them are here online today with us, they came to our campus and they showed some of the work that we are doing. And I'm working with biomimicry, trying to get inspiration from nature to develop new products and technologies for 3M. After that, I was asked to become a part of the Young Scientist Challenge. And when I first learned about it, similar to Jonah, I was very excited with the prospect of working with super smart young scientists. Could not have said no. And I'm very glad I did not say no.
We're certainly glad that you did not say no either, and yes, talk about some wisdom this evening. So I definitely agree, Jonah, with that piece of advice around surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Right, that's been my theory my whole life too. So as we keep going here, Ikon, you had a question, or I have a question for you, and thinking about this real special opportunity. We have Dr. Beverages on the line here, and as you can tell, he has a pretty important job, pretty important role at 3M. Anything that you'd like to ask of him?
Yeah, so I had one question for you, Dr. Banovitz, and that was, when you were our age, so in your teenage years, did you envision yourself holding such an important role at 3M? And like, how is your journey in 3M like?
That's a great question, Akash. To be honest, I never thought that I'd be in the chair that I am today when I was a teenager your age. I was interested in science at the time. I always had an interest in science. I had mentors as I grew up, and that's why I love being part of this program. But I never would imagine that I'd be leading such a talented scientists that exist at 3M, and with the charge to try to improve lives around the world. And so I never would have thought about it. And my journey through 3M has taken a lot of different ways. I've lived overseas 2 different times. I've worked in our corporate labs. I've led a few of our businesses. And so it's just been a great experience to work with such a great company at 3M, which is really made up of fantastic people, including our scientists that really come into work every day to try to improve lives. So I'd hate to say it, but it's almost like a dream come true to work in this position. So.
Well, I think that's not only inspirational, but I think it's also fair that you get to turn it around here a little bit, John. How about any questions for these finalists? They've been asking a lot of questions of everyone else, but anything you'd like to learn from them?
Yeah, I'd love to, and maybe I'll start with you, Kyle. You said the ocean was the inspiration for your project and things, but can you talk a little bit more about how you came up with this idea, how the oceans helped inspire this idea that you came up with?
Yeah, sure. So a few years ago, I learned that plastic left in the ocean and landfills break down into very tiny particles over time, and they get into our food and drinking water. In fact, 8 million pieces of plastic get into the oceans every single day. And I became specifically interested in microplastics in drinking water because it's a rapidly emerging contaminant. There's no consensus on the definition, there's no standardized testing methods, and its health effects on humans are extremely uncertain. There's not a lot of research that has been published in this area until this year. And the California Water Board is currently in the process of proposing the definition of microplastics in drinking water right now. So I decided to design a detector that can measure microscopic particles.
That's awesome. That's great. Akash, a question for you. Being part of the process, being part of the competition, really so far at least, what's been the most exciting part about being a finalist in the competition?
Yeah, so I think the thing that I'm most excited for is the final event, where all 10 finalists will get to present their work, and we'll also get to see what all the other finalists have worked on over the course of the summer. And honestly, it's just been a lot of fun to get to work with Dr. Sani on my project and just seeing it improve every single day.
Wow, I love this. So as we keep rolling, we want to make sure that you can ask those questions, post them in the Q&A. We have a couple questions here lined up already, but take that time, go ahead and type it in. We'll try to get those answered as I continue to check our panel. So to start with, I have a couple questions, and this is for both mentors and finalists. And this is a kind of go back in your love of science and when you really got started through to where you are today, whether you're a student, whether you're a scientist, whether you're leading scientists. But I would love to know from each of you, who is your biggest science inspiration? Do you have a person, somebody that sticks out? Who's your biggest science inspiration right now? And I'm wondering if we can start with you, Vasav.
All right. I hope you can hear me now. Yeah, huge science inspiration has always been Stephen Hawking, not only for the work that he has done, but also for the several adversities he had to face throughout his life, and how he overcame most of them and still kept on doing his work. And even throughout all of that tenure and difficult times, he used humor a lot to communicate a lot of his findings, which were counterintuitive to most. So that's always been an inspiration for me.
Okay, Jonah, who's your biggest science inspiration?
Science inspiration. Wow, so many scientists to choose from. I can interpret the question in a lot of ways, like a person that's actually doing science. But if I can maybe like twist it to the person that maybe inspired me to be a scientist. My mom actually bought me a set of encyclopedias when I was about your guys' age, maybe a little bit younger. And I was always asking questions. And so I got this old set of encyclopedias. So we didn't have Wikipedia when I was your age, but I had these encyclopedias and she got me these and I would just get every single answer I could out of these things. So that was kind of my inspiration for getting into science. So it's a little bit different take on it than what Vasav went with, but that's really my inspiration though.
I love that answer. Okay, John, coming to you. Who is your biggest science inspiration?
I would say right now, to be honest, my biggest science inspiration are the scientists at 3M who are really trying to work and develop and create things that make lives better. I think about how we've responded to this pandemic and the work that's been done to double our respirator production, to work with outside companies to really help address some of the issues and the health concerns around the pandemic is really inspiring and just has been an unbelievable to be part of an organization like that. And so it's interesting because it's a lot of energy. It's very energizing. It's very passionate, and it's just great to see really the inspiration that you can draw from your peers and your colleagues, particularly here at 3M. So,
Kyle, your turn.
For me, definitely the biggest science inspiration has been my sister. She started doing science fair several years before me, and she's been able to guide me through this entire process. And she's also really inspired me to work harder on my science experiments. It seems like every day she's working on her experiments. I remember like a few weeks ago, she said, "Oh, I video called some of my friends while I was performing some experiments on this needle, and it was really fun." So yeah, she's definitely the biggest inspiration to me.
And I love the practical ways in which she's bringing that into your, to give you guidance, but also into her real life too. So what a neat idea. Why not have a FaceTime and do a science experiment? That's excellent. Okay, Conch, what's your answer? Who's your biggest science inspiration?
I think my biggest science inspiration, well, not necessarily like scientist, but just the way he thinks would be Elon Musk, because the way he thinks out of problems, or not problems, but comes up with solutions to problems that we're having today, and then the way he presents it to the entire world, it's insane to see how he's founded so many companies that have all had so much success.
Excellent. Well, I just want to say thank you to each of you for participating. Before I pass it over to you, John, for closing remarks, as you can tell, if you've joined us on this program, there's just such brilliance, and there's so much to learn from every single person on here. And we thank you for sharing with us, finalists, mentors, 3M. We're just so thrilled. But the countdown's on, right? The Young Scientist Challenge is coming your way in a virtual format in just a few short weeks. We're so excited for that event, and we're really happy that you were able to join us this evening. So as we bring this all to a close, John, any last reminders, things that you'd like to share?
Yeah, sure. Well, well, first of all, thank you, Kyle, for participating and helping moderate this discussion. Fantastic. It's been a lot of fun. And I'd also like to thank our finalists and mentors. Let's give them a big virtual round of applause for this. It's fantastic. Really great to be part of this. Now, I do have a few reminders for the audience before we close the session today. First, I'm excited to share that the Improving Lives Award voting period opens on Monday, September 28th, and runs through October 9th, Friday, October 9th. The Improving Lives Award, it's about giving the public the opportunity to vote on the 3M Young Scientist Challenge project that they think will improve the most lives. You can cast your vote once per day at youngscientistlab.com. Lastly, you can catch our finalists again on Tuesday, October 13th at noon Central Time, as they virtually present their final presentations to a panel of judges in hopes of becoming our next America's Top Young Scientist. The invite and details can be found on 3M Go. So again, I'd like to thank our special guests this afternoon, this evening as well. I hope everyone has a great night. Thanks for participating. Fantastic job to our mentors and our finalists. Good luck.